This design is normally found on ultraportables, however it seems okay to bring it across to a bigger, all the more impressive PC. It transforms the 16 inches gaming notebook into a media playback device and a tablet, and could make it more flexible than rivals like the Razer Edge 15 and Alienware X15R2. Yet, at $2,699 in the US, £2,799 in the UK, and $2,999 in Europe, this PC isn't modest, and for that sort of money you could purchase one of the more traditional Razer or Alienware workstations. Is this exploratory structure factor worth the venture? Or will the Asus ROG Flow X16 fall behind its more customary rivalry and neglect to inconvenience our best gaming PC diagram? Design and keyboard. A smooth, viable convertible case with great form quality. Sensible network, yet no thunderclap and no HDMI 2.1. An agreeable and quick keyboard regardless of the poor RGB LEDs. The convertible instrument on the Asus ROG Flow X16 is an eminent and direct piece of design. The display swings through 180 degrees easily on hearty pivots, and the half and half case adds adaptability. Hitch the Flow into a rose position, and you can prop it up to watch motion pictures or mess around with a cushion. Move it as far as possible around, and it's an enormous tablet for touchscreen gaming, or use it in representation mode. And it's perfect for perusing or web perusing, as long as you can adapt to the expanded size when contrasted with the typical iPad. The Flow's aluminum and magnesium combination body displays excellent form quality all through. It looks great as well, with a line tasteful that shuns RGB LEDs for a modern feel. The aspects are sensible, albeit the Flow doesn't necessarily in all cases beat the opposition. Decidedly, the Asus just gauges 2.1 kilograms and it's 19.4 millimeters thick, so it's lighter and slimmer than 17.3 inches contenders like the Alienware X17R2 and Razer Edge 17. Inversely, however, the Alienware X15 and Razer Cutting Edge 15 are both slimmer, and the Razer is somewhat lighter as well. The Flow X16 is a piece conflicting with regards to network as well. This PC has sets of standard size USB 3.2 Gen 2 and Type-C ports, with the last option taking care of DisplayPort and power conveyance, and it has a microSD card peruser. Within, you'll find double-band Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2, and sound comes from a group of 4 of that produce fair bass and a fresh, clear mid-range. They're effectively sufficient for gaming. You don't get wired web, however, and the PC's HDMI 2.0B result doesn't offer similar transmission capacity as HDMI 2.1 association. Its webcam has Windows High, however there's no finger impression peruser. Surprisingly, the Flow X16 conceals its second USB-C port inside the connector for the Asus XG Versatile outer design dock. However, Asus doesn't sell the XG Versatile dock separately in many business sectors, and there isn't a variant accessible that overwhelms the PC's RTX 3070 Ti GPU. It's absolutely excess. Each contender has HDMI 2.1 and quicker thunderclap 4 ports. You don't get the last option on the Asus. The Razer rigs have all the more standard USB attachments and standard size SD card openings. It's a blended keyboard as well. The buttons have 1.7 millimeters of movement, and it's a fantastic, predictable unit that encourages long gaming meetings. However, there could be no number cushion, and it's just got unsophisticated single-zone RGB drove lighting. The trackpad is good because of clicky buttons. However, any sharp gamer ought to join a USB mouse. In the event that you truly care about keyboard quality, you could purchase an Alienware X17R2 with a Cherem X mechanical unit. However, it'll cost you $3,099 divided by £2,679 divided by €3,398, so in many business sectors it'll cost extra. Screen: an enormous, high-resolution display with 16:10 viewpoint proportion. Extraordinary quality for indoor and open-air use. Not accessible with the expansiveness of choices you'll find somewhere else. Obviously, the screen has an incredible detail. It's ostensibly the main part on a mixture. The 16:10 perspective proportion and 2560x16:0 resolution convey a fresh, retaining gaming experience with more upward space than any opponent. And the additional level makes it simpler to peruse site pages and reports, and provides extra width in picture mode. The touchscreen has a Gorilla Glass covering, and its 165 Hz refresh rate accompanies AMD FreeSync Premium Pro and a 3ms reaction time. Those last particulars guarantee smooth movement in single-player games and standard esports circumstances. Asus says this screen hits a 500 nit brilliance level, and it went past that in benchmarks with a 543 nit top. That is sufficiently high for indoor and outside use, and it implies that the Flow's screen conveys great dynamic quality and splendid variety. The dark place of 0.5 nits is sensible, and the subsequent differentiation proportion of 1086 to 1 guarantees great profundity. The Flow produced all of the sRGB and DCI-P3 ranges with a strong delta E of 3.06, so you have sufficient precision and broadness for any game. However, while games and movies look perfect on this screen, you'll in any case get improved exactness from Razer's boards. They're better for variety touchy responsibilities. Alienware and Razer's 2560x1440 screens lose vertical space yet have 240 Hz refresh rates, which are better for esports. Razer additionally makes its 15 inches and 17.3 inches notebooks accessible with 360 Hz screens, and the Alienware X17 R2 is sold with 480 Hz and 4 Kelvin display choices. Furthermore, as usual, 17.3 inches screens are much more retaining than the Flow's 16 inches board, yet in far bigger workstations. Execution. Incredible standard gaming power from the RTX 3070 Ti. The AMD processor is great, yet Intel's identical chips are better. The Flow is some of the time too hot to even consider contacting in specific regions. NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 3070 Ti shows up inside the Asus ROG Flow X16 with its standard 8GB of memory and 5888 stream processors, and the GPU runs at its pinnacle power result of 125W. AMD's Ryzen 9 6900HS computer chip has 8 multi-strung centers and a maximum velocity of 4.9 GHz. There's 32 GB of double-channel DDR5 memory, which is adequate for gaming and inventive work, and the 1 TB SSD conveys extraordinary read and compose velocities of 6,574 MB per second and 4,478 MB per second. In Skyline Zero Daybreak at 2560x16, the Asus found the middle value of 68 FPS, and in Borderlands 3 the Asus zoomed through at 46 FPS. This PC will play huge name games without a hitch. There's a lot of esports capacity here as well. In Rainbow Six Attack the Asus found the middle value of 230 FPS. AMD's Ryzen 9 processor scored 1556 and 10,067 in Geekbench 5 single and multi-center tests. Those great outcomes imply that you have sufficient ability to process to handle work undertakings, performing various tasks, photograph altering and video processing. It's a fit substance creation chip. There's a motivation behind why each opponent purposes Intel Silicon. The Center i7-12700H scored 1,686 and 12,040 in similar benchmarks in the Alienware X17. In PC Imprint 10 the Asus scored a good 7529. However, the i7-12700H hit almost 8,000 focuses in a similar test. Workstations with the i7-12700H expense no more than the Asus. Either, you'll find that chip inside each Alienware and Razer rig. Numerous workstations in this cost range are additionally accessible with the quicker Center i9-12900H. Battery. You'll get the majority of a day out of this PC in the event that you're cautious. However, try not to hope for something else than an hour of interactivity here. The lifespan of the Asus ROG Flow X16 is blended, yet all at once not unfortunate. While playing video at 150 nits the Asus went on for very nearly 8 hours, so you can utilize the Flow to watch motion pictures or episodes of your #1 network programs, or to traverse a large portion of a functioning day in undemanding applications. In a harder work test the Flow conveyed 4HRS 35 minutes of utilization, which is comparable to the Razer Cutting Edge 15 and somewhat better than the Alienware, and longer than both 17.3 inches rivals. That will just help you through until noon. However, it actually permits you more flexibility than many gaming notebooks. Finally, thanks for watching my video. See you again next time.